again, everyone. As many of you know, my name is Nicola. I am the outreach specialist with REE Medical. Part of what I do with my job that I absolutely love is interviewing a lot of our veterans who have used our service, just to provide some information to fellow veterans who may be watching, what their experience was like working with REE Medical, and just kind of get to know them more on a personal level. So I am so excited today to meet with, is it Athenia?
Yes,
Athenia?
Athena.
Nice to meet you.
Yes,
Beautiful name.
yes, thank you.
Thank you again so much for coming on here. We're so excited to speak with you.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. So I just wanted to first introduce you and give you the floor if you want to tell us, where you're from, where you served, how long you served for. We would love to know.
All right. Well, again, my name is Athena. I did serve in the Air Force. So I did serve 5 years from 2008 until 2013. I was
Nice.
stationed at Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery, Alabama. That was my only base. That was it for me. I met my husband there. We've been together almost 12 years now. And we have
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for your service,
You're
first of all.
welcome.
That's so cool. I love that you were there and you met him and you're like, all right, I'm done. We're good to go.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank
Well,
you.
again, thank you so much for coming on today. So, we just would love to know, we have veterans that we work with all the time that we meet from, all different, however they've heard from us, whether it's online, word of mouth, friends. So I'm just curious, how did you hear about REE Medical?
Well, I actually heard about REE Medical through a friend. Well, my friend of mine, her husband is a veteran. And
Okay.
I was kind of talking to him about some of the things that I was going through, trying to do my claims myself and some of the issues I had been having. And
Mhm.
so he told me about you all. He gave me your information. So I said, okay, thank you for the information. I'll look into it, do my own research as well.
Love it.
It actually took me a few months before I actually got around to it. So of course I went on Google. I read all of the reviews. The reviews were very positive.
Great.
I got on the website. I did all of that. So I said, okay, I think I'm ready to shoot my shot now. So I finally called, and the rest is history.
That's great. And we love that too. We definitely respect veterans who maybe want to do the research and do their homework themselves or, try to do the process on their own.
Yes.
So we definitely respect that and appreciate that and just so glad that you finally made the call.
Oh yes, and it was a big positive just to know that someone personal that I knew actually went through it. So I didn't have to do
Yes,
too much digging because I know he went through it, and I
that
know that it
helps.
was a legit company.
It does help. I would say, it's really cool to meet vets who maybe just kind of found us randomly, like you said, on Google or Facebook
Yes.
or whatever. But I think, word of mouth especially, we are so grateful for our referrals and people that have, friends and coworkers and spouses and, you name it across the board. So it does help. Like you said, it really does help knowing
It
someone that
does.
has gone through the process and or going through the process and it does make a difference. So
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
now, when you signed up, I know you said it took a little bit of time, did your homework, read the reviews, which is great. So when you did start the process, what was sort of your, first impression? Were you kind of nervous, once you did start, just communication kind of throughout the process? What was sort of like your feeling, I guess, probably from beginning to end, through the whole process?
Okay. Well, when I first started and I spoke to, I want to say her name was Kim. I spoke from her from the beginning to the end. I believe it was Kim,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. I
Yeah.
might have her name wrong.
One of our
Um,
consultants, yes.
Yes. But I spoke to her from the beginning to the end. She kept me in the loop of every single step that I was going through. She let me know, okay, well, next you'll be doing this. So in a few weeks, you'll be hearing about this. So the communication with REE Medical was really A1. Like I have nothing negative to say about the communication. I knew what was going to happen and when it was going to happen. I was still skeptical about if it would happen, just
Mhm.
as far as the possibilities that I was looking for as far as my rating. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, I didn't want to be negative on myself, but I wanted to be positive. And I was like, oh, this is pretty awesome if they really can help me. But of course, you have that little thought in the back of your head. It's like, we'll see, we'll see. But the process itself was very smooth. If I had to do it again, I will.
Oh, good.
I really will. The communication itself was really important for me.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I think, communication in general, I think is just so
Yes,
important, and but like you said too, obviously the fact that we are a neutral third party company, working a lot of veterans, we don't have the ultimate say in whatever the outcome is going to be.
right.
We obviously hope it is positive, but at the end of the
Yes,
day, it truly is up to the VA's decision.
it
And
is.
we are just obviously excited that we could provide you with documentation that could reflect, the rating that you deserve, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. Yes,
But I agree. I think that is important to note too, that, we don't make any promises, we don't make any guarantees. We are very upfront with that in the beginning. And,
yes,
we don't ever want to give off that impression that, oh yeah, you're going to work with us and it's going to be exactly what you want. We obviously hope for that, but
yes. No, I definitely didn't get that impression. I did get the impression that yes, you can help me, but there's no promise that we're going to get you there. We're going to try our best and do our best, but
yeah. Well, and I think
it wasn't like that. So yeah.
good. I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad too that, we were able to provide you, with the DBQs that accurately reflected your disability.
Yes.
Because I think that's important too, is making sure, a lot of veterans express, I want to make sure this is accurately, documented, reflected. So I'm
Yes,
glad to
because we
hear.
actually have a story behind that. As far as the DBQs, I was fighting my case myself for, oh Lord, maybe 8 years with the VA myself.
Oh, wow.
I
Oh my
appealed.
gosh.
I appealed a claim with them. I thought I had everything right. I found a doctor who I thought would do my DBQs the correct way. Lo and behold, they did not. So trying to find someone who really understands the VA's verbiage is hard, especially on your own. So I tried to do this on my own before with a different claim, and it did not work out in my favor with almost 8 years of fighting.
Wow.
And I
That's
did
a
give
long
up.
time.
That's a long time to fight
Yeah.
and to still get a big no. And I said, this time, obviously, I don't know everything I think I know. So I'm just going to see if I can hire somebody who does know this information. So I don't have to fight 8 years for a big no.
Absolutely. Well,
Yes.
and I love hearing you say that because it is important, I mean, we obviously commend you for doing it on your own, and we definitely have a lot of veterans that, will do the free consultation with us, and maybe they want to, put a pause on it and try to do it on their own first, which we absolutely support and encourage. But I think a big part of our company too is, it is important for us to connect veterans, with the medical professionals they need in order to obtain the DBQs. That qualifies based on the VA's criteria. So
Yes.
I think it's important, that you're mentioning that too, because that is something that is important to us as well.
Very, yes, because not every doctor knows how to fill out a DBQ the correct way. And I thought I had the right doctor and I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you came to us.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
And I will say, how, in your experience with the process, once you submitted the DBQs, did you have to wait a couple months? I know it's kind of different for everybody.
Yes. When I first contacted REE Medical, it was January of this year, 2022.
Okay.
So from the time that I contacted them until the time I actually had to see the doctor was May. So from January to May, that was the time frame. I did think it was a little long for the wait, but of course, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. They still have to put all the paperwork together. They still have to find the right doctor in my area. So I understand, of course, with the VA, with the VA, you have to wait anyway. So I'm okay with waiting. So from January to May was the time frame of waiting. So in the beginning of May, I had my appointment with the doctor. It was very smooth. I did contact REE Medical about something, but they handled it. So, and then from May to July is when I actually got the paperwork back from them after they did everything that they needed to do with the paperwork back from the doctor.
Okay.
And then I submitted it actually the same day once I got it back from REE to the VA.
You're like, I'm not waiting.
I'm not waiting.
Okay.
I'm not waiting. No, I'm not waiting. I submitted it the same day. The instructions that they gave was very clear. I didn't have any issues with uploading information. And then I had to wait again, but it was waiting on the VA. I no longer had to wait on REE Medical. So from July until November is when I finally got my rating back from the VA. And honestly, it wasn't even supposed to be that long. I contacted someone at the VA and they told me it should not have taken from July to November. He told me it should have went straight to a rater, but it didn't. And he apologized for that. He did. He apologized. But as far as the steps with REE, it was smooth and everything was good.
Good. And now I have to ask, when what did you log online? Did you get the letter in the mail? Like, when you got your decision?
I actually downloaded the app.
Oh, okay.
I have the app on my phone, and I got to the point where someone actually had called me from the VA, which I was very shocked. He called to let me know he was pushing my claim to the rater because it had been sitting there too long.
Yeah.
So he told me, give it about 2 weeks, and then you should have your rating. So those whole 2 weeks, I was checking my phone every day.
refresh.
Refresh. I checked my phone probably 3 times a day, thinking like, oh, okay, it's gonna come. And so I think 2 days before the 2 weeks was up, I was in the kitchen with my husband. We were making dinner, and something told me, just pick up your phone and see. So I picked up the app and checked, and it was there. And I literally dropped my phone and I cried.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I literally cried, and he's just looking at me like, what's going on with you? Because I couldn't really speak at the time. And then when I finally told him, he was so happy for me. But I literally cried once I seen my rating.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I can't even imagine, especially having, fought that on your own for 8 years and going through us. That must have been a pretty phenomenal feeling.
Yes, it was. That's all I could think about was those 8 years of fighting, and then finally, like, I'm done.
You are done. That's fantastic. Oh, I love hearing that. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. And for veterans again that are watching, that either are started the process or maybe are coming across this video and are curious about reaching out, is there any advice or encouragement that maybe you would like to share or pass along to any veterans?
What I would say to the veterans out there is, if you feel like you can fight it on your own, do it. But I tried to fight it on my own. It did not work out for me. So I would suggest for you all to use REE Medical. At least go and get your free consultation and see if they can help you. They will let you know if they can or they can't. But I know that they can. Because they helped me. So no, this isn't paid. This is my personal and honest opinion. I am very grateful. I am very happy, and it's just a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Yes.
Oh, that's so great. Well, honestly, on behalf of the company, we are thrilled to hear about your positive experience with REE. And again, thank you so much for sharing, and congratulations. And we are just so honored that we could assist you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.